Coming up on the Angus Report, the certified Angus beef brand reports another record-setting year of sales among its partners.
The Angus Foundation reaches new heights. And Iowa breeder Dave Nichols is inducted into the Saddle and Sirloin Portrait Gallery.
This is the Angus Report. Hello and welcome to the Angus Report. I'm Bob Cervera.
And I'm Crystal Albers.
Our top news this week. Demand for quality Angus beef continues to grow, as reflected in the most recent sales figures from Certified Angus Beef. The world's largest branded beef program reported its 9th year of record sales for Certified Angus Beef brand product among its licensee partners. That milestone also reflects growing demand for registered Angus genetics, with a 27.5% increase in acceptance rates.
Fiscal year 2015 might go down as the best year in certified Angus beef history, not necessarily just because it marks the 11th year of consecutive growth and the 9th record year in a row that we've had, but primarily I think when you look at the fashion in which it was done. You know, this year it was loaded with challenges. We saw the fourth year in a row of declines in the number of Angus cattle that were out there, primarily just because of herd liquidation and still feeling the ramifications of that. Yet still the producer base and the packers brought the 3rd largest supply of certified Angus beef carcasses ever in our history. A number of about 67,000 carcasses a week we still saw this year. And that equated to sales in excess of 896 million pounds of product, which is absolutely phenomenal. Most of that we saw at the end of this last fiscal year through July, August, and September, when we saw acceptance rates in some weeks exceed 30% acceptance for the first time ever in the history of our brand. But as you look at the year as a whole, as many of you know, that we adjusted the carcass weight specification back in November, early on in this fiscal year, and that change in carcass weight probably represents about half of the improvement that we saw in acceptance rates this year over last.
The Angus Foundation reached new heights in 2015 in its efforts to advance education, youth, and research endeavors for the Angus breed. The nonprofit arm of the American Angus Association celebrated its 35th anniversary during the National Angus Convention earlier this month and reported more than $11 million in total revenue. The foundation also reported distributing more than $276,000 in scholarships this year to Angus youth and investing more than $1 million in important research spanning the beef cattle business during the past decade.
The Angus Foundation's assets are now in excess of $17 million to support our mission of education, youth, and research. And projects ranging from beef cow efficiency, biological efficiency, fescue toxicosis, hair shedding, heat environment issues, adaptability, and in addition to that, to carcass meat quality. And we believe that these investments not only will be beneficial to the Angus breed, but also to the beef cattle industry and our producers across the country. And the Angus Foundation, since 1998, has distributed in excess of $2.4 million in scholarships to Angus youth from across the country, whether they return back to production agriculture, return back to their Angus, their family's Angus operations. They're the future of the agricultural industry, and more importantly, and I think this is where people really need to keep in mind, is they're the future of our country. And we certainly need to provide every opportunity that we can to equip them to become the successful leaders that they will be.
The North American International Livestock Exposition took place in Louisville, Kentucky, November 15th and 16th at the Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center. The Superpoint ROV show included some steep competition for bulls, cow-calf pairs, and females. Complete show highlights can be found at angus.org. We'll have coverage from the Saddle and Sirloin induction ceremony held in conjunction with the show and honoring Iowa Angus breeder Dave Nichols later in the show.
Yeah, this week at the junior show, we've had 200 entries, and we had, I think it's the biggest junior show here at North American, and really had a good time with that. And we've got nearly, I believe, 260 head here. Start out the open show, it'll be bulls and pairs and young females alike. And the cattlemen, our breeders, have done a good job of bringing a really good set of cattle. Not just cattle, but good cattle. Depth of quality and is really second to none, I believe, for the Angus show. Cattlemen stockmen of all sorts and kinds. They come here to see what genetics are working. They come here to see what farms are up and coming. And the biggest thing, they come here to see their friends because we all know that we like our Angus cattle, but the bigger part of that is we enjoy the Angus people. We're certainly a family here as a breed, and Louisville is a great example of that.
The Range Beef Cow Symposium was November 16th through the 19th in Loveland, Colorado, bringing together seed stock and commercial producers from across the country. The Range Beef Cow Symposium is every other year and is sponsored by the Cooperative Extension Service and Animal Science Departments of the University of Wyoming, South Dakota State University, Colorado State University, and the University of Nebraska. Be sure to visit rangebeefcow.com for all the highlights brought to you by the Angus Media team and available in the pages of the Angus Journal.
Ranchers in the West could see some signs of relief from long-term drought thanks to El Nino weather conditions. That's according to USDA's Bob Ellison, who has more in this report.
El Nino is drenching the drought in California.
We certainly have the possibility of getting all of California into a drought easing pattern sometime within the next 2 or 3 months. We're already seeing some rain and snow across California now in early November. That's a good sign that we're starting to get those El Nino-driven storms beginning to affect the West Coast.
But those same storms could also bring flooding to Texas, the Mississippi Delta, and other areas. Meanwhile, El Nino is also bringing the rain in South America. USDA meteorologist Mark Brusberg says strong El Ninos have historically meant good corn and soybean yields in South America.
Unfortunately, good news in the southern hemisphere usually means lower prices for our farmers.
The current El Nino is being compared to the super El Ninos of 1982-83 and 1997-98.
We go now to Jenna McCrell with a look at news you need to know this week in the Angus business.
Thanks, Crystal. Each year during the National Angus Convention and Trade Show, the American Angus Association is proud to recognize those who've made outstanding contributions to the breed. I'll share a few of the highlights with you. 4 individuals were inducted into the Angus Heritage Foundation, a collection that began in 1983 as a way to recognize influential leaders in the Angus business. The 2015 inductees are C.K. Allen from Montana, Dr. Curtis Long of Missouri, Keith Stevenson from Montana, and the late David Dansinger of Colorado. You can visit the newsroom at angus.org to learn more about this year's honorees. The Angus breed is fortunate to have generations of individuals and families who have committed their livelihoods to raising Angus cattle, and for some, more than a century. The association presents Century Awards each year as a way to honor farms and ranches that have been in continuous production of registered Angus cattle for more than 100 years. This year's recipients are Homestead Farm near Cedar Lake, Indiana, Ingalls Centennial Angus from Faith, South Dakota, Penner Angus Ranch of Mill Creek, Oklahoma, and the Simpson Angus Ranch near Edmond, Oklahoma. You can learn more about them at angus.org. And the association also recognized champions during the 2014-2015 Roll of Victory show season. The ROV Show Heifer of the Year was Champion Hill Georgina, 8547, owned by David Smith of Boulder, Colorado. Named the ROV Show Bull of the Year was XR First Advance, 5702B, owned by Express Ranch, Yukon, Oklahoma, and the Schnorr Sisters of Chowchilla, California. And recognized as the 2014-2015 ROV Breeder of the Year was Express Ranches of Yukon, Oklahoma. For more news and highlights from the Angus Convention and Trade Show, visit the newsroom at angusconvention.com. And that's what you need to know this week in the Angus business.
Thanks, Jenna. When the Angus Report returns, strengthening partnerships across the production chain.
Then, highlights from the saddle and sorrel induction of Iowa Angus breeder Dave Nichols.
Visit angus.org to continue watching this episode of the Angus Report.
The Angus Report is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. Why not prevent respiratory disease before it steals from your bottom line? Vista Once protects your calves with the most complete respiratory disease coverage available. And Vision Blackleg vaccines can add 14 pounds per calf at weaning. Contact your veterinarian or animal health supplier today.
This isn't a 9-to-5 job. So when you check the pens one last time, put away the tools, and make sure everything's ready to hand off to the night crew. It's not the clock that tells you the day is over. It's the confidence of knowing you got it right. It's having one less thing to worry about when the sun goes down. So when you see the signs of BRD, choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health. Talk to your veterinarian about Zuprevo for BRD treatment.
At 44 Farms, we believe work starts at sunup and doesn't stop until sundown. We believe in order to live off the land, you have to love and respect it. We believe that cattle aren't just raised, they're nurtured. And we believe when you do things right, with honesty and integrity, well, things like quality and consistency happen naturally. 44 Farm Steaks, responsibly raised all-natural beef.
The GGP-LD, the most popular low-density genomic profile on the market, is now available for Angus. And at $45 per head, you can afford to test all your cattle. Plus, you can save even more time and money raising reputation seed stock. Put the GGP-LD profiler to work finding your best bull calves and the elite females that will brand your legacy. For more affordable accuracy, go GGP, a new brand of partner.
Beef quality is everyone's responsibility, including yours. That's why the Checkoff-funded Beef Quality Assurance Program is key to your future. BQA, empowering people because you can make a difference, taking responsibility because it's our job, not someone else's, working together because product safety and wholesomeness is everyone's business. Find out more at bqa.org. Riverbend females are ready to be placed in your herd, selling over 250 registered Angus females and a tremendous set of commercial females. The sale is managed by Cotton & Associates. It starts at noon, December 12th in Idaho Falls. Powerful donors, bred heifers, proven prospects, Cornerstone Genetics. Whatever you need, we have you covered. Invest in your herd on December 12th at the Riverbend Genetic Edge Female Sale. We'll see you there.
Farming is in your bloodline. Engineering is in ours. We build machines that burn less fuel and load more material, helping you move bales, spread feed, and clean pens efficiently. Cat machines make chores move a little faster, so you can spend more time with the people that matter most. Caterpillar, helping you create the life you want.